He's getting roasted on social media.
That's the last thing he needs.
Everybody goes through something, but you chose to stay here and be a part of this family.
Yo, Carlton. Lisa needs you right now.
No, she doesn't. She's got you.
What are you talking about?
This is my husband, Philip.
Nice to meet you.
How you doing, man?
All right. Yes. We are back with another video, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Listen, we're covering Bel Air, episode 6. This is the recap. Definitely an action-packed, intense episode. Family, Bel Air, I'm feeling it, fam. I'm feeling it. It's getting better and better. You already know. If you missed anything, definitely check out all my recaps as I break this down with you. Let's break it down together. And absolutely drop your comments if you're brand new. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Let's get into it. So we see your boy Will, and he's looking online. He's bouncing the basketball in the house. What you doing bouncing basketball in the house, boy? You crazy? And he's looking at his IG, looking online. And yeah, you know, Aunt Viv, Uncle Phill, they're getting ready for this memorial for Lisa's mom. But a lot is going haywire. People can't help out. So, you know, she definitely needs help from Hillary. So here comes Ashley, and she's like, anybody see Will? Because Will's getting trashed all over the internet. And then they're like, man, this is the last thing that he needs right now. With everything that just happened with Trey, him not being his boy anymore, and him telling his mom that he's going to stay in Bel Air. So Will, he's looking on the internet, and he sees cats, man. They putting snake over his face. You know, Trey, he's mad. Trey is definitely mad at Will, calling him a snake and turning his back on him and everything. And of course, Aunt Viv and Uncle Phill go to visit him in his room. He doesn't want to be bothered. He just wants a little space, so he runs out of his room. Uncle Phill goes after him. He's like, Will, wait, I want to talk to you. And he's running out. And he's like, Will, like, he's trying to just slow him down. He just wants to talk to him and make sure he's okay or whatever the case is. Will turns around, says what, but he slams the ball, and the ball bounces and knocks down this art piece. I'm sure it's expensive, right? I'm sure it's real expensive, whatever that vase is that broke on the floor. So he's like, dang. So, of course, Uncle Phil's like, my office right now. And, of course, Aunt Viv is like, man, not today, right, of all days. So, yeah, it's clear that Will is upset about what Trey is doing. Trey's supposed to be his boy, and he's like, yeah, you know, they're going through conflict. And Uncle Phil's just trying to let him know, man, like, it's okay, man. He gives him a hug and a whole nine. You know, cats are upset, man. You're upset when your own boy, somebody's like your boy, like, turns their back on you and starts talking bad about you, right? So he gives him a hug, lets him know, listen, it's okay. You made a decision to stay here. It's all right. We're going to be here for you no matter what. And it is what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't even worry about it, man. Don't worry about what's going on the internet. It's going to cool down, and we're here for you. You know, he's reassuring Will that he's here for him. And, yeah, man, I mean, Uncle Phill was always like a dad to Will, right? Always like a dad to Will. Even though Will didn't really know his father, Uncle Phil's definitely there for him like he's his dad, right? But we call him Uncle Phill, okay? So now we see your girl, Hillary, and now she's in the new house, right? With all the content creators. She's getting all set up. She's about to start cooking and do whatever it is. And here comes the black ass boys, right? They always into something, always messing around. And she's like, yo, if y'all don't leave me alone, right? She's trying to set up and get her thing going. And they're like, yeah, listen, you better get it going because there's a deadline on everything. And she's like, what? What are you talking about? He's like, yeah, you know, Kyle makes sure that we all, you know, stick to a deadline and make sure we post at least twice a day, once a day or twice a day. And yeah, Hillary's feeling the pressure of posting out, you know, something online to make sure she doesn't leave and lose any viewers or whatever. So Mom calls, and she calls for Hillary to come to the rescue to cook for this event because, you know, of course, the caterer backed out. So here comes Hillary, right? Hillary's coming to save the day. The princess of Bel Air is there to save the day. And of course, Aunt Viv is glad and happy to see her, you know, come through. You know, she's the chef. You know, Hillary, she's on top of things. She's all about making sure she takes care of the family. That's how they get down. And your boy 007, Mr. Jeffrey, he's like, okay, well, she's here, so it's all good. The food's definitely going to be taken care of. And, Aunt Viv is definitely stressing out, but she's going to make it happen. That's what she usually does. She wants things to be perfect for Lisa and Lisa's mom because, Lisa's mom was like a sister to her and everything else like that. Of course, your boy Jeffrey comes over with some news about the campaign. He gets the news first, brings it to Uncle Phill, and, they like, you all right? He's like, yeah, a little politics or whatever. But listen, we're doing this for Lisa's mom. This is a real special day, so everybody has to be on their best behavior. He gives his speech before everybody does what they need to do. Of course, Carlton is there, and Carlton is definitely going to be helping out as well. So the family's coming together. And yes, Will is there as well. He's going to be helping out. He's in a better mood since having that talk with Uncle Phill. Lisa shows up, and, she's like in between happy, in between sad at the same time. She knows this is a memorial for her mom. And yeah, she's happy to see everybody there helping out. Carlton comes over. He's like, yeah, I got all the paperwork for, the poem and everything. Let's go practice. Let's go get ready. So he's definitely excited, of course, to see her and excited to help her out with this memorial. She walks over and she sees Will, and Will's just trying to, give her a space, and he promised Carlton that he would stay away from Lisa. So she's like, hi, and he's like, yeah, what's going on? He's not really giving her the energy that she's looking for. Of course, Aunt Viv is like, yeah, today is kind of hard for Lisa, so yeah, we all got to kind of be there for her. So, of course, Will wants to be there for her, but he also promised Carlton that he would stay out of the way because Carlton knows the secret of why he's really there. So we see your girl Hillary. She's in the kitchen. She's making things happen. She gets a call from Kyle. He's running the house, the content creator house. He's like, what's going on? You almost reached your deadline. D-Day, whatever. She's like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, you got to post at least one thing per day in order not to lose your viewers. You lose like 3% of your viewers, of your subscribers or whatever, if you don't post. And she's like, okay, I'm going to work on it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do, something here, a tutorial. He's like, yeah, that's repetitive. Your viewers don't like repetitiveness, right? He's just telling her like, yo, you got to do something different. I hope you don't miss the deadline because that could be consequential to your, subscribers and everything. So she's like, man. So here we are, Lisa, Carlton, they're practicing. Her mom going to find out her mother loves poetry, so they're reading the poem. And yeah, Carlton's just trying to be there for her, right? He's trying to be there for her at the same time. She's really upset. She's thinking about her mom, like losing her mom. I mean, I'm sure if any one of us lost our mothers, how that would feel, So yeah, Carlton's just trying to be there for her. Will goes over because he's thinking about, how he's kind of being standoffish. So he wants to go talk to Lisa, but there's Carlton holding on to her hand as she's being vulnerable and everything, just trying to console her. Will sees that and he's like, oh, okay, I see what's going on here. And he gets in his feelings a little bit because he's thinking that, yeah, Lisa and Carlton are getting back together by the way that things are looking, but looks can be deceiving, right? So Lisa actually goes out of her way and she leaves Carlton and she's looking for Will. So she rolls up on Will like, hey, what's going on? How you doing? And he's like, oh, what's up? What's going on? Yeah, I'm good. He being real standoffish. And she's like, yo, so what's going on? What's up? Saying, why you acting like this? So he looks over to Carlton and Carlton's looking, and then he looks away at his cards. And he's like, well, I know you're going through a lot, and, I didn't want to be in your space. I wanted to give you some space so you can just get through this day. I know this day is real special for you. But he says, I also saw you and Carlton all hugged up, booed up or whatever. And she's like, that's what you think this is about? Nah, Carlton was consoling me because I was upset about this day and about my mom. So Will feels bad. He's like, yo, I'm sorry, da-da-da. And she's like, you know what? You're right. Maybe you should give me some space, right? So she just flips it and she's like, yeah, maybe that's best right now because, you always trying to make it about you and Carlton when it's not even about y'all. So now he feels even worse because he put himself in a position and made it look like, yeah, he was jealous. Even though they're not going out, they got that little connection. So here's a picture of Lisa's mom and they're getting everything all together. Turn around, look at your boy Will. He's playing a piano and he's doing a good job, right? So he's playing the piano. Aunt Viv is feeling it. People are walking around. They're looking at all the art pieces and everything, and they're making donations. It's going to be a silent auction, to benefit, sickle cell and everything else like that for Lisa's mom. So the ladies come, Aunt Viv's girls come through, And Joan is looking for Jeffrey. She's like, yeah, Jeffrey's not here. But yeah, we see Reed. That's his name, Reed. Reed is the art guy that's filling Aunt Viv, right? So here we go. Lisa's dad and her stepmom is there, and she's pregnant, right? So Aunt Viv ain't really feeling the stepmom. Ain't really feeling it at all. You know, she feels like it was too fast for them to get together and get married, and now they about to have a kid. She's asking Lisa how she's doing, and she's just being there for Lisa for the most part to make sure she's straight on this day, right? So here we go. We got Ashley and her little friends, her two little friends, a little boy and a girl, and she introduces them to your girl Hillary, and she's like, "Oh, how you doing? How you doing?" And Ashley's like, "You know, like that's my little friend. Remember the one I told you about? You know, like she's hinting at her." Not telling her that. She's like, "Oh, what's going on? How you doing? Yeah, good to see y'all." Right? And, you know, they're happy to meet Hillary and everything. And, you know, Will's playing the piano and stuff. And the girl's looking over at Will like, "Is that Will playing the piano?" He's like, "Yeah, he's really good." And the guy's like, the little boy's like, "Yeah, he's good at everything," right? So Ashley sends them out to the pool. And she's like, "What should I do?" Asking Hillary. She's like, "Yo, just tell her how you feel. You a queen, you know what I'm saying? If you feeling her, then let her know. Let her know, and because you a queen." So she's like, "Yeah, I'm a queen. Yeah, I'm a queen." I'm like, okay. So, you know, Hillary's doing her thing, making sure everybody's fed and making sure it's all good. But she's still getting a call from Kyle. Kyle is staying on her. She has to do her content creation. She has to do a video and upload it today. So she's feeling the pressure of really uploading it, you know, her content for the day. So now we got Carlton. He's rolling over to Lisa to make sure Lisa's good and everybody's there. And yeah, she has a stepmom, and the stepmom is there kind of trying to make a connection with her. But she's not really feeling her stepmom at all. She's not feeling her at all. She doesn't like her. You know, she really doesn't like her. And they're talking about school and what college they're going to go to and everything else like that. And she wants to go to Howard. And they're like, "Yeah, HU, da-da-da-da." And they're getting all hype. And then all of a sudden, you know, the baby kicks in her stepmom's stomach. And she's like, "Oh," he's like, "Oh, you okay? Okay. Yeah, no, you know, the baby kicks every now and then." And it looks like she's just kind of like making it about her. She may not be making it about her, but it feels like it. It feels like, you know, whenever they're talking about Lisa or getting into Lisa or Lisa's mom, the stepmom comes in. So now we're outside, and Lisa's stepmom talks to Aunt Viv, and she's like, "Yeah, I feel like, you know, I want to say something, you know, I want to say something about, you know, Lisa's mom." And Aunt Viv is like, "Nah, you know, it's all good. We already got the program set." Again, Aunt Viv does not like her, right? And she's like, "Well, I feel like I want to say something." She's like, "Listen, you could just kind of like stay out of the way, you know, and it'll be all good. Like, just sit down, go somewhere." You know what I'm saying? She's not feeling her. So Will overhears and comes over to kind of interrupt. He's like, "Hey, Aunt Viv, you put all this together? Yeah, it's good. Hey, you know, my name is Will." And he introduces himself to Lisa's stepmom. She's like, "Oh, you're Will. You're the nephew. Yeah, or you're the one that they took in." And she's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, you know, they're doing right by me, right?" So, you know, she's like talking about how, you know, he's like, "Yeah, where'd you meet Lisa's dad?" And she was like, "Yeah, it was at a golf tournament. He won the golf tournament and said I was his lucky charm." Right? So while she's telling him this, of course, Aunt Viv is ear hustling and listening to the conversation on the side. So she's like, Aunt Viv comes over as she's telling him about this whole golf tournament and how he said that's his lucky charm. She's like, "Yeah, what year was that? That was like 2018, right?" And yeah, she was like, "Yeah, it was 2018. So she confirms it. And then Aunt Viv goes, "Well, you know, Lisa's mom passed in 2019. Bam, bam, bam. What? So Will is like, "Oh, shoot." We all was like, "Yo, for real?" And, you know, Lisa's stepmom was just like, "Well, you know, we met there, but we started dating a little after, you know, after she passed, you know, something like that, blah, 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 blah," right? So, yeah, she's like, "Okay, I gotta go." And Will is like, "Did she just like," and Aunt Viv was like, "Yeah, I need a moment. I need a moment." And she walks away. Then she goes to her, you know, art room, and she sees this guy, Reed, man, artsy Ely up in her spot. And she's like, how'd you get in here? He's like, oh, I got lost and, I saw your painting here and it's amazing. It's incredible. And she's like, well, it wasn't ready. She's like, maybe you should just go get lost again. like you shouldn't be in here. Like, you're all in her personal space, her personal painting space. Like, this dude is just an intruder, right? So he's like, listen, you should put it on display. And if it goes on display and it sells for $15,000, then guess what? I want to put it into my gallery, okay? And if that's a bet, she's like, I don't know, right? So she's not really sure. And then, of course, Uncle Phill sees them talking. So he comes over. He's like, yo, who's your little friend? Who you talking to? You know what I'm saying? My man, Uncle Phil's like, what's going on here in my house? And she's like, oh, yeah, this is Reed. And Reed owns a gallery. And, we go way back. And we were talking about my artwork. And he's like, yeah, how you doing, Mr. Banks? He's like, yeah, I'm doing well. How you doing? Like, what are you doing in my wife's personal space? Like, what's going on? That's what I hear him saying in his head, right? So they're like looking at each other awkward after they meet. And Aunt Viv was like, all right, we should get back to the party. Let's get back to the party. So now Reed says, well, I was telling Viv, right, that she should display her artwork. And yes, she's going to display this artwork right here. And, for the silent auction, for the benefit of everything, right? So she didn't say it was okay, but he kind of forced that on her. So she, instead of arguing with him, she's just like, yeah, that's what we're doing for the benefit of this cause right here. So Uncle Phil's like, I didn't know you were painting again. She's like, yeah, I was dabbling. I got the inspiration, da-da-da-da. And Uncle Phill is looking at this guy's like, he kind of shady, kind of shifty, whatever. So he's like, yo, what do you think about it? He's like, I think it's great. I think my wife's work is great and they're going to love it. So he gives a kiss right in front of Reed to let you know, son, this is my wife. I love my wife. Don't be trying to come on to my wife. It is what it is, right? So she's like, listen, we really need to get back to the party. Let's do it. So they're about to leave, but Reed is trying to pick up the painting to bring it out to be displayed. So Uncle Phil's like, listen, I'll have somebody do that. Get your ass out of here. Get your ass out of here and be a guest, right? Don't be touching stuff, man. Like bounce, B. Uncle Phil's the man. So we see your boy Will, and he's out there in the garden, and he's checking on Lisa. And they're talking, and, he's just checking on her, and she's a little bit upset. And she's like, she really doesn't like her stepmom at all. And Will is just going into things. He's like, yo, it's better to just, kind of think about the good memories, and because sometimes it's real painful to go through all of this. And he's just trying to be there to console her as well. And yeah, she's like, you talking about your dad? He was like, yeah. And she was like, what about him? He's like, I don't know nothing about that dude. He's like, I don't know nothing about him. But, he's just trying to be there for him. And then she says, well, I think that Carlton is trying to use her vulnerability to get close to her. And, they're pretty much just like, yeah, they got to walk on eggshells around Carlton and his emotions. Carlton overhears all of that's going on. Uh-oh. So now we see Ashley and her friends, and they're playing a game. Ashley beat the boy, and the girl puts her hand on Ashley's shoulder. So she looks, and she's like, oh, okay, all right. She's kind of feeling me, right? Or whatever. So she tells the boy, hey, can you get us something to drink? Because, I'm kind of tired and thirsty when I'm beating you. He's like, yeah, okay, I'll do that. He has no idea what's going on or whatever. But we know that he's feeling her from the previous episode because he put an arm around her when they was at the friend's house. So he goes to get the drinks. And then her friend that she's feeling is talking about, yeah, she has a crush on a guy. And, she thinks that boy is feeling Ashley. And she's like, yeah, I got a crush on a guy too. And, he doesn't know it yet. And or that person doesn't know it yet. Right. So Ashley's like, OK, is it me? Like, she's thinking like it's her. She's like, nah, your cousin Will, he's definitely a good looking young man or whatever. So she's feeling Ashley's cousin Will. And he comes back with the drinks. And yeah, Ashley, she's kind of like down because she thought that she was going to talk about her. But no, she's feeling Will. So Ashley's kind of down, right? Poor Ashley. So now we see this guy Reed, boy. I tell you, he's a snoop. He's sneaky. He goes over to the clipboard where Aunt Viv's artwork is, right? So he writes something down, then he walks away. Of course, Uncle Phill sees what's going on. He's walking around acting like he's looking at the art. So he's looking to make sure Reed is gone, and he looks at the clipboard to see what's going on, right? And he's looking at Aunt Viv's painting, great painting or whatever. So he looks at the clipboard and he sees that Reed put down anonymous $15,000 as far as, the auction goes, right? That he's going to buy for $15,000. Yeah, right. So of course, Uncle Phill, he's like, nah, that's not going down. He writes down anonymous too, but writes down 20,000 and puts the number 23. He's like, yeah, nah, you're not going to outbid me, son. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to buy my wife's artwork and you get the credit and da-da-da. I can see what's going on in his head. So yeah, Will is using his basketball skills to get through the crowd. He got some drinks. He doesn't want to spill the drinks. He's doing his thing. He brings the drinks over to Uncle Phill and it's all good. And yeah, they're pretty much having a good time. Of course, 007 Jeffrey comes and talks to Uncle Phill and puts some information in his ear. And Uncle Phil's like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, I'm sure. It's like, okay. And yeah, man, this guy, Jeffrey, boy, again, totally different Jeffrey from the 90s. This guy, he knows he's getting all the info. And of course, Aunt Viv was like, you okay? Everything all right? Yeah. He's like, yeah, everything's fine. Everything's fine. So here we go. Lisa's looking for Carlton because they got to do, their poetry. They got to do this whole speech thing and they can't find him. Will's like, yo, let me go look for him. Right? So she's kind of like still upset, but just trying to stay strong. Here's Ashley talking to Hillary. And Hillary's like, yo, I'm trying to find you because I'm about to leave. I'm trying to get out of here before Mom sees. And she's looking kind of down. And she's like, yeah, my friends just left. And Hillary's just like, yo, what's going on? She's like, yeah, she has a crush on our cousin, Will. And, she's kind of just trying to figure out what to do at this point. And of course, her sister's gonna, cheer her up and say, hey, you're gonna be okay no matter what. I appreciate you telling me about how you feel about things. You want to tell anybody else? And she's like, nah, I don't want to do that. So of course, Hillary's gonna be there for her little sister to let her know that things are gonna be okay no matter what, right? She's still figuring it out. It's gonna be okay. So Ashley tells Hillary that, yeah, she told Aunt Viv that, yeah, she's not going to come back to the house because she's fulfilling her dreams. She's going for her dreams, and it is what it is. So, they got that little sisterly bond that we didn't really see in the old sitcom, right? But they got a bond with each other. So here we go. Will goes to look for Carlton back in his room. He knocks this time. He doesn't just walk in, but again, Carlton doesn't answer, so he walks in, and yeah, Carlton is doing what he shouldn't be doing again with that whole Xanax thing. Right? So Will's like, yo, bro, what are you doing? Like, what's going on? And the Carlton is just not feeling him. He's like, no, don't talk to me, bro. Like, get out of here. And he's like, yeah, I overheard y'all talking about me and how y'all got to walk on eggshells around my emotions, right? So he's all in his feelings about all of that and everything. And, Will is just like, yo, Lisa needs you. And Carlton's like, no, she got you. She got you. He's like, what are you talking about, man? So they go into it, and Will is just like, yo, instead of you being up in here getting all messed up, you need to be there for Lisa because it's Lisa's day, man. Like, it's her day, but you getting upset about, what you think is going on. I was just being there for her as a friend. You know what I'm saying? And if you were her real friend, you wouldn't be up in here bugging out, tripping, and doing what you're doing right now. So Carlton actually breaks down and starts crying, yo. Like, we didn't see this coming. I didn't see this coming either. And it's just like, word? So he breaks down. He's like, yo, I'm sorry. You're right. I'm just thinking about myself. And this dude really breaks down and cries. And Will's just like, yo, just chill out. Yo, we just got to chill. And he's trying to get himself together. He's like, nah. Just rest up, man. Just rest up. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, man. And this is sad, though. It's real sad. Yeah, not only is he suffering from anxiety, but it's just a lot of other mental things going on with Carlton that we've never seen before. So Will is going to be there for him as his cousin and like his brother, right? So it comes down to the time where, you know, the memorial's happening, and Aunt Viv is talking about how Lisa's mom was like a sister to her. And we find out also in the episode that once Aunt Viv and Will's mom, Vi, kind of like stopped talking to each other, then Lisa's mom became like her sister. It's like she got real close to Lisa's mom. So Lisa goes up there and talks about how moms loves poetry, Maya Angelou, and everything else like that. And she's going to do a poem of her own and dedicate it to her mom. And to help her out with this, she got your boy Will to help her out, right? So she's happy about that because Will came through for her. Goes up there and she starts doing, of course, a poem. They're going back and forth. She is getting upset, obviously thinking about her mom. But Will is like, yo, you got this. You know, he's giving her a look like, go ahead, you got this. It's all good. You know what I mean? So he's being there for her as a good friend. And yeah, she makes it through the poem. And he's definitely proud. He's looking at her. He's cheering on. He's right there by her side as she's getting through this emotional time. So, you know, it's over and they get a standing ovation. You know, Will gives her a hug. And, of course, Carlton is looking down from his window like, man, you know, like I'm all messed up. He's all messed up about it. So the stepmom gives Lisa a hug. And, again, she's still not feeling her. She really doesn't like her. But she's like, yeah, you know, that moved me. I really want to say something. You know, I want to go up there. And Aunt Viv was like, yo, we already discussed this, B. Like, why are you pressing to say something? She's like, well, I always spoke to, you know, Fred. And, you know, I already spoke to him. He said it was okay. So Aunt Viv was like, yo, when Fred gets his own house to do his own memorial, then you can do what you want to do. So West Philly definitely came out. So, so he gets up, stands next to his wife. And Lisa's looking like, yeah, that's what I wanted to say. You know, she was like, yeah, Aunt Viv. So Aunt Viv was just like, listen, you know, either you can sit your butt down or I'm going to drag you out of here. You could leave. So, so they're like, yo, we're leaving. And she's like, come on, Lisa. And she's like, no, I'm going to stay. Can I stay? And of course, Aunt Viv is like, yeah, you can stay, baby. Then they walk away. So then, you know, Uncle Phill talks to dude. And he's like, you know why you lost that endorsement? And Uncle Phil's like, I already know. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to be a friend and you're a backstabbing dude. You know what I'm saying? I already know what's going on. He's like, well, you know, it is what it is. Like, you know, you changed the platform and da-da-da-da. And then Jeffrey comes over and is like, yo, we got a problem here, son? You got a problem here? Like, we good? And dude is like, you know what? You're going to lose, da-da-da-da-da, right? So he leaves and your boy Uncle Phil's like, yo, follow this dude. Like, you know, keep tabs on him. And Jeffrey's like, I'm already on it. He's like, yo, also keep tabs on that dude, Reed. And Jeffrey's like, yeah, I'm already working on that too. Uncle Phil's like, my man, that's my dude right there. Jeffrey on top of everything, man. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing getting past Jeffrey for real. Nothing. So here we go. Your boy Reed is trying to get Aunt Viv to fold again. But he's like, yeah, you know, you did great. You actually sold your piece for $20,000. And she's like, really? Really? And all he's doing is trying to boost up her confidence. She could display her artwork again and get back to her passion. But also, I believe that he's really trying to get closer to her. Like, he probably already had a crush on her since way back. And once she got married to Uncle Phill, then he lost his chance. But he's trying to get a second chance by helping her display her art and touching on her passion, which is art, right? So it looks like she's going to get back in the game. So Carlton wakes up from his rest, right? He slept, and Uncle Phill is on the bed. And he's like, Dad? And he's waking up, wiping his nose. And Uncle Phil's like, yeah, you know, you all right? You feel better? He's like, yeah, I feel a little better. Da-da-da. He's like, yeah, I know you got anxiety. I know what's going on. You're going to be okay. Carlton was going to tell him about the whole Xanax thing, but he didn't rat on himself. He's like, yeah, you know, this guy, Fred Wilkes, is running against me. I'm going to kick his ass. And they're like, okay, let's do it. So Will goes over to Aunt Viv. He's like, yo, that West Philly came out, Aunt Viv. You know what I'm saying? And then Will's just like, you know what I'm starting to see? I'm starting to really see that the family really looks out for each other. And she's like, yeah, I would do the same thing for you. And she's just talking about Trey and how Trey is just upset, you know, just give him time. He'll get through this, you know, he'll get through his anger. He'll get through him being upset. He lost his best friend when his best friend moved out here. So he feels kind of hurt about it. So she's just telling Will to give him time. And now we get down to it. Hillary is now doing her content creation, but she's taking it with a twist, boy. She's in the kitchen. She got some lingerie on, and she's flipping the script. And she's like, yeah, we're going to try to do it a little different this time. I'm going to do a recipe, and y'all can follow me in a whole nine. And she is ready to turn up the heat. Oh, shoot. Go ahead, Hillary. I see you. I see you, shorty. I see you. So now we got Lisa. She's at the pool, and Will walks over thinking that she's crying, but she's actually laughing because she was so impressed by Aunt Viv and how pretty much she handed her stepmom her ass to, right? And said, you can go. And she says, she's like, yeah, Aunt Viv said everything I wanted to say to her and been wanting to say to her. So they're laughing about it, whatever, and she's just thanking Will for being there and stepping in for Carlton. And he's like, yeah, you know, I'll do that for you anytime. He's like, I figured I'd give you your space and everything, but, you know, it is what it is. And she's like, well, did you want to do that? And he's like, hell no, I ain't want to do that, you know? And she's like, yo, I miss us hanging out. And I miss us being around each other. And he's like, yeah, me too. So you know they about to have a moment. You already know what's about to happen. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, she's looking at him. They're looking at each other. You already know they feeling each other. But she's really grateful that he was being there as a friend and wasn't trying to come on to her. He was really trying to help her out for the memorial of her mom. You know, so, I mean, that's a good thing, right? But yeah, he really was not trying to give her space. He was really trying to hang out with her because, you know, Will is feeling her. They are feeling each other. The vibe is there. You can't fight the vibe. So, of course, you know what goes down. They start to kiss and all of that. And yeah, this was bound to happen, right? This was bound to happen. We already know. Yeah, they've been feeling each other since day one. But of course, Carlton was in the mix and he was trying to be respectful. But at this point, there's no stopping what's about to go down. So that's the recap, family, of episode 6. Definitely let me know your thoughts, your theories, and everything about this episode. Let me know if you felt the episode. Let me know if there was any highlights, any things that stood out to you. Let me know if there's anything that you didn't like about the episode too. But definitely this was a good episode. I like it. And yeah, to me, Bel Air's getting better and better. Yeah, your boy Carlton, man, he broke down. That was pretty sad. But again, Will is coming through to help save the day in his own way, right? So let me know your thoughts, your theories. Again, if you're brand new, hit that subscribe button. Appreciate you all for watching. And you know what it is. It's your man, VACAY-J. And until next time, salute.